some people would think that, oh, I might get cheated on, or someone might be not super honest with certain things. Yeah, I might miss certain things. So whereas this is true, but not for everyone, and you just have to know who you're dealing with. I think I looked at two. Well, one main thing was, oh, is it going to sink in the next 10 years or so? No, and then the research showed that no, it's not going to be underwater that soon.
We're here today, our Cayman Blueprint, and today, sadly, I normally have Ellie with me, and sadly today she's not here. But the good news is we have Bhavesh all the way in Canada's with us, and his client, Martin. And we're basically going to ask Martin about his experience, about the journey he's taken with Mr. Bhavesh on the journey to purchasing property in the Cayman Islands. So, Bhavesh.
Hi, Anwar. Hi, Martin. How's it going?
Very well, brother.
For those of you who don't know much about Martin, so let me just give you a quick introduction first. So Martin has been there with us. He's been part of the journey with Oasis since more than 2 years now, and we are going to ask a few questions to him today, just to understand how his process has been and how his experience has been so far in these last 2 years. Okay, so Martin, for people who might not know your background, can you please give us a quick version of what you do and the world that you operate in?
Yeah, so day to day, I run small structural engineering business in London, and we mostly deal with small, medium-sized projects up to 25 million pounds. Also, on the side, I invest in properties. Yeah, in Cayman a little bit as well, but also in my home country in Poland, and a little bit in the Middle East as well.
Got it. So you being in construction tech and real estate industry for a very long time, how did that influence regarding your approach of investing in something like this in Cayman?
Mm, so in Cayman, I think it actually came out from the around early 2020s when there was COVID and everything just was going up in pricing and all, and everyone was trying to get out of the cities and searching for their own little enclave somewhere. And that was the moment when I started thinking about going in a more tropical directions. So I don't think like my interest in construction tech was much involved in this, but it was more thinking kind of outside of the box, like what can I do in interesting locations, and what could I buy for a certain amount of dollars in nice tropics? Yeah, that was my thinking.
Got it. So this is something we have never discussed before because I remember when we first spoke, you told me it's going to be for purely investment purposes. But yeah, like this is the first time I am hearing from you as well that you started looking at it maybe because you wanted to get away from that life in London and have something amazing to yourself.
Yeah, at that time it was mixed feelings about everything. You didn't know what the next month would be, so yeah, it was just curiosity, and here we go.
Yeah, do you know what, Martin? Great to hear that. And there's no better person than Bhavesh to take care of you. Let me tell you, he's been with us for quite a few years now. How did you first experience it, Martin? How did you actually come in contact with Bhavesh?
I think it was through I don't know if it was Instagram ads or something, and then we just started chatting on WhatsApp. And yeah, it was early mornings. I'm sure it was at some point 5 a.m. In Canada when you were at some point, and 10 p.m. 10 p.m. in the UK. So it was through the clock, really, all around the clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, like I said, Bhavesh has been with us quite a few years now, and he sent all the information over. You took your time, you had a look at it, and how did you feel about the journey and the way Bhavesh directed you?
No, good, very good. Actually, we had at every single time. Well, being an engineer, and it's. I think I felt like sometimes I'm quite particular when I'm inquiring about things because you need to be exact. So, and for example, if it's a land which is with a shore to the sea and ocean, you kind of want to know exactly where your boundary is, right? So, yeah, I remember
Right. Yeah.
a few conversations. Yeah, well, there was a big discussion. Is this photo taken during when the tide is low or high, or where is exactly my land ends? Yeah. No, so
I was just going to say, you know what? It's quite right. And it's not that. That's why, and I'm sure you've seen it, we provide all the clients with a legal pack and making sure they get all them questions answered, to make sure it's the right location for them. So it was the ocean front. How do you feel about it?
no, very good. So yeah, you mentioned the legal pack. Yes, so legal pack actually explains quite a lot, pretty much, I think everything in terms of like what needs to be provided to someone to be able to make a decision. But obviously there is a feeling part of it. Yeah, oceanfront, beautiful. I think. How did I feel about it? Huh. Um, I mean, great. You've been there, I guess. You can.
Oh, many times.
Many times, but we want to know from you how it,
Yeah.
looked to you, or how like you thought that this is the, location for me.
How did I come to the decision that that's the right one? I think, listen, this is a piece of land, I think around 20,000 square feet, just next to by the ocean, literally, on nice rocks, and it is stunning. Like when you look at the Google Maps or when you look at the photographs of the property, it looks just stunning. So. Yeah.
Definitely, and especially, the
Perfect.
house next door to it and the way they are cut steps into the rocks, going to the water. I,
Yeah,
I know that location's amazing.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there, me and you, B.
Definitely, yeah, many times in fact. Okay, so Martin, just tell us, like, what did your due diligence process actually look like before committing? I know, like, we looked at a lot of things. We looked at the boundaries. We discussed that in complete detail. But did you have an independent lawyer review the contract?
Yeah. So I think I had to be first kind of certain that people I'm dealing with are serious, and it's not just like Instagram ad, and then so you buy something and then it becomes it is not real. So I think we had a first conversation. I can't remember which year was it, but then I went back and I started searching. Through the internet, doing due diligence on other places where you can buy land. And after a while, we reconnected, and then we did the deal. My due diligence process. So actually, I think there was a time of it was a Chat GPT time, around Chat GPT time. So I've been doing
When it
a
got
lot of
launched recently, yeah.
I've been doing a lot of due diligence with ChatGPT, but also common sense. Like I said, I have very pragmatic approach to things, and if things smells in the wrong way, then I can say, I can feel that I can smell them very very well, and we've been having very good relationship, and all went well twice now. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I do remember that time ChatGPT had just launched, and he used to send me screenshots from there that, what about this and what about that? And we discussed all those questions in complete detail. And I think we connected early on in 2023, and then we did the deal maybe in mid of 23. So there was around 6 to 7 months of
Yes.
time between that and when we just had conversations almost every day or every few days in between that.
So, as you can see, today we interviewed one of our very, very happy clients. Been a client for us for over a year now. So, if you'd like more information, don't forget it's so simple. You can go to our website at oasis-land.com and check out all the information there, beautiful locations. But also, you can go to our customer care at oasis-land.com for more information. And, yeah, which, do you know what? Which is good. Which is good. It shows it wasn't a quick process. You made sure all the due diligence and documentation was right, and more importantly, about us as a company, Oasis Land Developments.
I think also it's a very personal journey, buying a property, especially outside of the place you were born or you live, and everyone is at a different stage of their lives, of their business or finances, and it kind of needs to, unless someone is very experienced in doing these deals or buying, selling stuff all the time. Yeah, you need to get to certain maturity, I think, for everyone.
Definitely. So, Marit,
That's
there
it.
is this one question, which has been in my mind for a very long time. I've never asked you this before, but initially, when we started talking, you were looking at locations in Cayman Brac.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting once you send me one bluff
The Bluff Edge one.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so even we are still waiting. Bluff Edge, as we have discussed, like they're very, very rare. So even we are waiting for that. But again, coming back to my question, so when we started talking, Brack was initially what we started, looking properties at. But then ultimately you settled on Little Cayman. I know you've told me many times that Little Cayman, this property especially, it's very unique. But when it comes to choosing the island, how did you choose about settling on Little Cayman as an island, as a location?
Yes, I think I looked at two. Well, one main thing was, oh, is it going to sink in the next 10 years or so? No, and then the research showed that no, it's not going to be underwater that soon. Then there was a scarcity point. I think that I've noticed there is. I can't remember the exact number, but what is it, like 100 properties over there? 100.
Maybe less than that.
Yes. So I thought that getting a piece of land which has very little property built on it makes sense long term. So and also beautiful, stunning views, and the fact that there's actually not that many people there is also great.
And the best part is because it's a very small island, it's a very boutique kind of an island. So obviously land is very scarce, the properties are very scarce, which makes, in a way the demand to be more. So
Hmm.
I think I completely agree with you on that part, definitely.
Yeah, it's something unique for sure.
Hmm. Perfect. So, okay, so you've not been to Cayman yet. So how did you get comfortable committing without physically seeing the land?
Mm. Uh, it's a good point. Um, how did I get? How did I believe that it's true? And it's. Um, I think the amount of research and stuff that I've been going through online. Um, nowadays I think I'm 35, so you do a lot of things. You buy a lot of things which are not. You don't necessarily need to see them. So I think from my generation point of view, I think you can very easily can become comfortable with doing transactions online. So I don't think there was a. I don't think I had a feeling that, oh, I should or I should not be doing it just because I've not been there, or the amount of stuff that you can research online these days is so big. Then I think you just have to have some certain checkpoints, and like I said earlier, if something smells bad, then you kind of you have to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. And adding to just what you just said right now, I think nowadays, anyways, everything is available online. So if you want to really check something, you can go online and everything can be checked. Plus, Cayman is a very transparent place. Being a British territory, everything by the government is also available online. Where if you would want to check anything directly with them, so you can do
Yeah, but
that.
also very important point is that for me especially was relevant that we during these conversations, calls, chats, we built a report, and I was certain that you are the right person to deal with on this. So that for sure helped. Mm.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
That's true. So
I'll take that as a scholar. Okay. So honestly, so now you're looking at this place. Probably you will eventually live at, or is it going to be a place you're going to rent it out on Airbnb, or maybe purely a landhold for you, which you're going to sell off in the future? So, or is it something completely different entirely? So, like, what's the plan with the purchases that you have made with
yes,
us?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see. For now, the way I'm, well, it's again a very personal thing, and it depends on the circumstances how things will evolve in life and in the business. I think for now things are good, so I'm holding it, keeping it, and if there will be some sort of financing options, maybe we'll build their Airbnb or place to stay. I don't know, don't know yet.
Got it. No problem. Okay. So, like, just tell me one thing. So, if somebody is watching this right now and they are on the fence, let's suppose, right? And they like what they're hearing, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet. Now, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? I mean, you have to be comfortable with your decision. At the end of the day, you have to make sure you have enough money to do it for sure, and you have to imagine yourself and your circumstances once you pull the trigger, and you have to start transferring some funds and how this will feel and all, and thinking also about it. Yeah, I think the feeling is very important. Like once you have to imagine the situations, once everything is done, how are you feeling about it? Yeah? Obviously, the due diligence part and um, how are you feeling with the other party that is selling this to you is also very important. Uh, but for me, once things are settled, how am I feeling about it? Do I have enough cash to sustain the payments and all? And you can start imagining what will you do with the place.
Okay. And what do most people get wrong about buying land overseas? Now, I know that you've been in this industry for a long time and you have definitely, like you've been to places, you know about this industry quite a lot. So, what do people mostly go wrong at when they're buying land overseas? What's the misconception that frustrates you the most?
So like I said earlier, that things nowadays you can do pretty much everything through the internet. So uh, some people would think that, oh, I might get cheated on, or someone might be not super um, honest with certain things. Yeah, I might miss certain things. So whereas this is true, but not for everyone, and you just have to know who you're dealing with. So you have to have a trusted partner on the other side, and then things go well. I think. Um, yeah, I don't know what I would say to them. Just do your due diligence and make sure that people you're dealing with on the other side are the right people for you and what you're trying to do.
So Anwar, any questions you have that you want to ask?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Martin. Did you know the Cayman Islands, Martin, before you actually?
I've been looking at
Ma-
places, Bahamas, Cayman. I've not been to Cayman. I've been to some other places in this part of the world, but not to Cayman. Um, I think Cayman always intrigued me in terms of, I might not be super accurate here, but in terms of the financial
it's
hub and
fine.
how it's evolved through decades as a place. I think there's more companies in the Cayman Islands. There is people who live there or something like that. So it's always been an interesting place to look into. Stunning, beautiful. Um, I think a few years back, even maybe before 2020s, I was thinking about buying some land outside of Europe, and I did some research. But at that time, I couldn't find anything that would tell me that these islands will not get immersed within the ocean that soon. So like I said, people have to become comfortable with what they do, and things take time sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of the big pluses that, Bhavesh is, as you've been with Bhavesh, and like you said, there was no rush on it. He took his time, got you all the information, got you all the answers that you required before you, made that decision, which is compliments and to Mr. B and his experience. Yeah, very well done, B. So no, I'm quite happy with that. B, is there any more questions, B?
Yep. So, if Martin, you could pick up the phone and call yourself 2 years ago before you knew any of this existed, how would you pitch it in 30 seconds? Maybe to yourself only.
I don't think you can pitch it in any way. Like I said, I think you have to go through a certain process to become comfortable with what you are about to do. And unless someone does it professionally day to day, I think.
So let's suppose you had to tell it to
Uh-huh.
yourself that, there's this property in Cayman you should
Okay.
buy. So how would you describe that? A Martin which did not know anything about the Caribbean or maybe about
Mm-hmm.
Cayman.
Mm. I think just do your research. I would do my research like I've been trying to do. Try to get to know the person on the other side, and yeah, that's pretty much what I would how I would approach it. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So, overall, I would say like the journey with you, Martin, it has definitely been very, very interesting. And like to be very honest, when I connected with you, it was not much time that I had entered into Cayman market myself. I had been here for some time, but not this much time that I have spent now. So while talking to you and with the kind of questions that you asked, even it educated me a lot as well.
I'm a
Working in the
horrible
same
person to sell
market.
to, I have to say,
And
whatever it is. Hmm? And I know this.
I do have to say that it was tough, but but like again, like coming to a point myself, I think I got to know about the market a lot, uh, answering your questions. Because there were like I'll be very honest, there were certain questions that you asked me to which even I did not know the answers to, and I had to go back. We had to speak to the surveyors. I went back to our team, our management. We literally had to call the surveyors and get to them to answer certain questions that you asked me. So which is something I really appreciate because and I think that kind of due diligence is something which is very important before you can actually make any decision on buying anything anywhere in the world. In fact, not just here in
I
Cayman.
can only say sorry for being so inquisitive.
No, that's good. See, but again, like it increased my knowledge, so which is something I personally like as well. And because I think when you're working in some industry, you need to know as much as possible, right? And it's always a learning curve. So learning never stops, right? New things will keep coming up, and the more you know, the better you
Always.
become, right? And I really have to appreciate you on that. Is what
No,
I
thank
would
you. It
say.
was a pleasure and still is when we chat.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin.
Yeah, thank you so much for
And
being here.
again, it's
And
been a pleasure, and thank you for being a customer of Oasis Land Developments.
Take care. Bye bye.
Well, do you know what, B? It was great meeting your client. And yeah, the good part, he had very, very good compliments for you, didn't he?
no, he certainly did. And I think it's not about the compliments, Anwar, at the end of the day. It's about making sure that your client gets all the answers they, were looking for, because that is what clears the air and, makes the journey smooth for everybody, for us and for them.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, so because Martin was asking all the questions, and I just made sure that I could answer them all honestly and in the best possible manner that I could.
Well, I think that's B, why he gave you so many compliments, you know? And that's part of being a professional agent like you are.
Now, I think that's it for now. And I think while speaking to Martin, we actually got to discuss quite a lot of questions which people have in their mind, but they do not ask. So I think it was a good, catch up with him, and we got to hear his viewpoint and what a client thinks or what kind of questions clients generally have, which again they're not sometimes comfortable asking, but I think they're very important and they need to be answered. So I think we definitely covered those questions in this podcast today.
Again, hope to have you soon again back on my podcast, B. And enjoy the day in Canada.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Anwar. Speak to you very soon and hoping to be back again, in next couple of days.
So, finally, to say next time we come back, we'll have myself and Ellie, of course. But also, I'd like to thank Martin and Bhavesh for the great interview today and also answering many questions, Martin. He's been a client and you can see the road he took and how simple it was. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more information and share, more importantly.